What is up, guys? Hope you're having a great day, and if you're not, I hope this episode makes it a little bit better. Today, going to be looking at episode 35, days 196 through 205, and just so that you know, this episode does include bonus XP weekend, if you didn't notice that from the title. Let me tell you, it was pretty awesome, and I am really excited to share it with you, and I hope you enjoy it. So, without any further rambling, let's jump into it. So beginning day 196, we unlock level 9 or 89 farming. Cool thing about 89 farming is this unlocks the third spirit tree that I can plant. Unfortunately, I still only have the one seed and the one tree planted. I haven't been able to get any more seeds from birds' nests. Kind of unlucky, but when I do get those seeds, I will have the level to plant them. After that, I was AFKing some harps, got to level 92 crafting, pretty cool. This does unlock Ganodermic leggings. It'd be kind of interesting for me to do some math and see whether or not making them would profit. I feel like they wouldn't. I feel like other people would be right on top of that, making sure that it's minimal profit and not really worth the effort, but it'd be kind of interesting to figure out. After that, in the Living Rock Caverns, got to level 89 smithing, pretty cool. I can now smith corrupted ore. Should I be spending a lot of time with the Saren Stones? I've decided that I don't really want to spend a lot of time with the Saren Stones. After looking back past this episode, I have done some math, and by some math I mean I've used rune metrics to figure out XP per hour of Living Rock Caverns versus Saren Stones, and I'm pretty certain I'm going to be spending most of my time mining at the Living Rock Caverns, unless maybe it's Treharn, Voice of Saren, and I need to AFK, but other than that, it's going to be the Living Rock Caverns for me. After that, I was working on an aviancy task. I got the War Priest of Armadillo Helm, which is pretty cool. Still a bunch of Armadillo pieces left that I need in order to finish this set, but it is cool to be making progress nonetheless. Went on to get 90 Slayer after that, which is very cool. Most importantly, this unlocks Dark Beasts. Fantastic Slayer monster to kill for money and XP, so I am super stoked about that. This does also unlock Edemus, but you also need level 115 Dungeoneering to even be able to kill them. I was actually super unfortunate on my last account to never even receive an Edemu task, despite being maxed. So I think it's going to be pretty unlikely that this content even touches this account for a very long time, if at all, but it is still kind of cool to have the ability. And then after that, I got the Armadillo body, which is pretty cool. Again, same as before. Still need several pieces left to finish the set, but always nice to make progress. Moving on back in the Living Rock Caverns, got to level 89 mining, which is very cool. This unlocks Saren Stones. As I was already saying, not really going to spend a lot of time there, but it's really cool to have the ability, and it's probably what I'm going to use for my Jack of Trades. That was the end of the day, though. 2375 total level and 150.9 mil just about XP. Let's move on to day 197. Began the day with Gothixian Cash, got to level 88 Divination, which is pretty cool. Nice thing about this is it does unlock a higher tier Sign of the Porter. Haven't really been using Sign of the Porters for really a lot, ever since I stocked up a bunch of Phoenix Feathers, and ever since I finished at Granite. I have not really used them for hardly anything, but it always is nice to have the ability should I need them for something in the future. After that, it was an evening of trying to kill the Mimic, and basically just tilting myself into an endless rage. I was under the idea that, maybe I could try and kill the hard Mimic. Jagex had put the recommended level at least 120 combat. I'm around 125. I have 99 prayer, so I can be using Anguish and Soul Split and pretty much everything I would need. I have somewhat decent gear. Actually, I wasn't using Anguish. I was using Torment because I was using magic, and I figured I should be able to kill the hard boss, and this actually did take me a lot of time to figure out just because I didn't really look up the mechanics beforehand. I figured it's a safe environment. If I die, it's no big deal. I can just kind of trial and error my way through learning the mechanics. So after doing that a handful of times, and after talking to people to try and get a better idea of what I should be doing, I didn't watch any videos on it, I eventually came to the conclusion that even if I do try and kill the Mimic with relatively perfect mechanics, as in I don't get myself killed, I just don't have enough time to do enough damage to kill the hard version of the Mimic. And I had reached this conclusion relatively early on into my attempts, but I was stubborn, and I spent a lot of time trying to actually get it down, and every single try just kind of either tilted me because I made one stupid mistake and I got bopped, or I was very slightly misplaced, or maybe I had an ability queued and it didn't let me move properly, or I would just have 3 seconds left and 7k damage left to deal, And because I'm only using chaotic staff, I'm not using any sort of T90 gear, I don't have T80 armor or anything like that. I just didn't have the DPS to finish it. And I'm sure if I was like a pro PVMer and had like optimized my DPS rotation and everything like that, maybe I could have done it. But for the most part, this was just an incredibly frustrating experience. I did wind up eventually just using my free kills on medium and using some of my tokens on medium, just thinking, you know what, if I can't kill the hard, maybe I could at least kill the medium and get something out of it. But I'm pretty sure when I did that, the only real loot I got was like 5k or 10k drops, which is obviously garbage, and like small protean packs, which again, not terrible, but also still really terrible. So I don't know how many clips of me trying and failing to kill the mimic I'm going to throw in. I recorded a lot, and I definitely want to show you guys a lot of my failures, because I know you'll laugh and it'll make your day and things like that. But if I was to include all of them, this would be like an hour-long episode, and I don't think any of us really have time for that. I did wind up ending the day at 2376 total level and just about 50k shy of 152 mil XP. Let's move on to day 198, where I have very few mimic kills. And of course, by very few, I mean 0, because fuck the mimic. I went straight to the Living Rock Caverns, got to level 90 mining, which is pretty cool. Does not unlock anything super special really at all, but it is still a level 90 skill, making that much more progress toward the 90s cape. Always fantastic. And after that, I realized that there were several dungeoneering scrolls that I just hadn't bought, and I didn't really know why I hadn't bought them. Well, I know I hadn't bought the Scroll of Efficiency just because I hadn't really done any hardcore smithing via bars, so I figured I'd pick that up, but I realized I hadn't bought the Scroll of Life either, at like level 89 or something farming. Kind of silly to not have picked that up so much sooner. Granted, it is only the Scroll of Life, it's not like a massive game-changing sort of thing, but it would have been nice to see how many seeds I would have saved. Definitely wound up using a lot more than I would have needed to, but not really that big of a deal. If you check out my Grand Exchange history, I did buy 500 rune bars for almost 14k each, and the reason was just because I figured with Invention out, maybe there would be certain rune items that would just profit a lot through making them, because people wanted to disassemble them for parts, and I found out that rune swords were an instant buy at 20k. Only problem is once I had finished making all of mine, they were cut down to 17k, and then after I had sold the 100 that you see here for a little bit under that, they were cut down very low. I think I wound up selling them around 13 or 13.5k. Because of Wasteless Smithing, I made a bunch extra though, so I did reach some sort of net profit. All in all though, was not really worth the stress. I think I did get my smithing rocks from this, which was nice, but again, just not really worth the stress and effort. Hopefully, when I get to higher smithing levels, after doing a bunch of superheating in the Living Rock Caverns, I'll find something that works out a lot more reliably. That was the end of the day, though, at 2377 total level and 152.8 mil XP. Let's move on to the next day. As you'll see, I started off with Dark Beasts. I had a Dark Beast task, immediately preferred them because they're such a great Slayer monster, and I got a Sirenic Scale. I'm not sure if this was on my 3rd or 4th kill, because based on when I finished the kill and when my quick chat actually went through, it could have been the 3rd, but maybe it was the 4th. Regardless, really cool to get such a good drop. I say good drop, slightly exaggerated in the fact that it's only a Sirenic Scale. It's like 400, 500k or something like that. Not anything special, but as far as Slayer's concerned, that's pretty great. So I was really hyped about that, and especially to get it so early into the task and so early into killing these monsters in general, I was pretty excited. After that, I went on to get to level 85 defense, which is really cool. Nice thing about this is this unlocks ports gear. It also unlocks the Glacier boots, or Glacier boots, I'm pretty sure they're pronounced. I don't know if and when I'll ever really buy any, just because I don't think they're that necessary outside of trying to tank higher tier bosses. I feel like tier 70 power boots are just better for Slayer. And the bad part about the ports gear is that I'm just so far behind on ports, and I have not been doing nearly enough ports. I know I used to say many episodes back that I was trying to do ports every day and make efforts toward it, and that has just gone so far south that it's scary how far behind in ports I am and how much work I need to do to even come close to finishing a port set. But it would be really cool to finish up at least the Sea Singer and Death Lotus, just for things like Krill or for Kree. Would be nice to have them. Tetsu, not really that important in comparison, I wouldn't think, but again, have the level, but it's going to be ages until I have the armors. Doing a little bit of dungeoneering, got to level 92 hit points. The tooltip at the top is lying to you. Look in the chat, look at my skill bar. I did get 92 Constitution, which is very cool, making solid progress there. Halfway to 99, but again, it's only hit points, so I didn't unlock anything. Afterward, I was AFKing Heffen during the Voice of Saren, got to level 89 agility. Unfortunately, this doesn't unlock anything either, but I am only one level away from 90, one more skill 90 plus, that'll be super, super exciting. Turning in my Dungeoneering challenge that I had earlier after that, got to level 91 Dungeoneering, super cool there, just in the fact that it's another odd level, unlock another floor, get higher prestige, get better XP per hour, all in all, just fantastic things in general. After that, I was back to the Living Rock Caverns with me, and I finally got to level 90 Smithing. And this is really cool for a few reasons. It does unlock a bunch of different rune items, which is nice, opens up some variety there, should I find one of those that's profitable or something that I would like to train with. But most importantly, this unlocks the attuned crystal weaponry and being able to make attuned things, which is just super, super, super good. So immediately after this, I ran straight to Ithil. I talked to Lady Ithil and I got my free attuned seed. You get one free attuned seed once you get to level 90 smithing. And this is in order to complete the Elven task set. I believe it's in the hard task set. Maybe it's the elite. Thinking about it now, it's probably the elite task set. But regardless, I took this attuned seed and I immediately made it into an attuned crystal halberd, because this is one of the best attuned items that you can get in the game for a couple reasons. One, it's just a tier 80 halberd, which is really, really great in the fact that halberds have wider AoEs, and for the fact that it's free, I mean relatively free in the fact that you get the seed for free and you can repair it with dust. It can be free in that way. You can also repair it with money, but I think I have enough dust from AFKing harps for that to not really be a problem. It's one of the best items you can use to train invention as well. So when I make progress in invention, I'll very likely augment this and start siphoning it, but it's going to be a while until I'm high enough invention to consider that, because I believe you need 60 invention to level items past level 10 up toward 12 and 15. So it'll be something for the long term, but I love having this item in the short term, and I am super, super excited to finally have access to it. I did end the day there, though, at 2382 total level and 154 mil XP. Let's move on to day 200. Went straight back to Dark Beasts, got to level 91 ranged. Look in the chat, look at the level bar, was 91, not level 90, as the pop-up said. Unfortunately, I really get kind of frustrated with those pop-ups, but what are you going to do? After that, got another Serenic scale, so a very, very good task. I was really stoked about that. And I even went on to get a Dark Bow after that, which again, sub 100k, not a special drop, but it's cool to just be able to say that I got one, and throw it in my Slayer tab and start stacking it up, see how many I get. After that, for some reason or another, I needed to AFK, so I decided to hit the rune span just because my rune crafting level is kind of low. It's starting to seem kind of low in relation to my other skills, which is actually really cool for 86 to be one of my lower skills. I'm pretty stoked about that. But I did get level 86 rune crafting, which is kind of exciting, does not unlock anything. And a while after that, I did end the day at 2384 total level and a little bit shy of 154.9 mil XP. Let's move on to day 201. Decided to knock out a couple quests on this day. I started with bringing home the bacon. Not really a quest I enjoy, not really a fun quest, but an easy enough quest, worth doing just because it's required for the Elven task somewhere in there. And after that I went on to complete a Clockwork Syringe. This is required for the Daemonheim task, so I'm just kind of trying to knock out the quests that I need in order to complete task sets, even though I'm really far off of completing most all task sets. Still good to get these quests done though, get the quest points, get the XP, get the unlocks, and just steadily making progress toward that quest cape. After that I said to hit Daemonheim, if only for the reason to buy the Scroll of Daemonheim and the Scroll of Dexterity, just because I had a handful of Protean items that I had planned on using over bonus XP weekend, and I figured if I had the Scroll of Dexterity, be able to save some of those, keep reusing them, get as much XP as I could out of those, that would be very, very beneficial. It would pay off a lot in the long run. Scroll of Daemonheim, pretty self-explanatory, just more Dungeoneering XP as I'm Dungeoneering. Really not a lot to say about that, but very good to finally be buying out pretty much all of the scrolls that I can. Ended the last day before bonus XP weekend here at 2384 total level, 155.6 mil XP. Let's jump into day 100 or day 202 where we start bonus XP weekend. Let's check out these amazing gains. Now I started at level 92 crafting, as you saw in a clip earlier in this episode, and I had 4.7k regular sandstone and 4.6k crystal flecked sandstone. That I had just accumulated for a long time, and the reason I had bothered to accumulate it was partially just because when I started finally mining it, I didn't have the crafting level to make it into anything, so I figured I would just kind of hold it out until I had the level, and then by the time I got close to the level, I figured I have so much of this, I don't want to make all of it right now. I might as well just wait until like a bonus XP weekend where I can get the most out of it that I can. So as you can see, that's what I did. I got from level 92 all the way well into level 95 with all of this sandstone. I got 2.7 million XP from all of this, which is fantastic. And I actually did wind up going to sell a lot of these flasks for some money, as you'll see in some future clips, but super, super exciting to have been able to get so much pretty much free XP, and the fact that I spent nothing on the sandstone, just the time to mine 50 of each every day, and for it to pay off this much was just exhilarating. After that, as you can see, I had 755 protean hides. Given that I did have the Scroll of Dexterity, I did wind up reusing a lot of these and saving hides, so I could have very easily gone through maybe 855 or something like that. I did not keep track at all, but I can tell you that I did get to level 96 with these, which is so, so cool. Only 3 levels away from that 99. I'm not sure how I'll get it yet. It might be through the Loom at the Citadel. It might be through just whenever I need to AFK, maybe I'll hit harps and just do it very, very slowly that way. Not entirely sure yet. Maybe I'll bang it out through some sort of actual legitimate, efficient, faster training method, but again, we'll see. When I did finish all of these hides, I was at 3.2 million crafting XP for the day, so that means around 500k XP from those hides. It was just so, so awesome. Now, as you can see from my Grand Exchange history, I did sell all of the potion flasks and 2.6k of the crystal flasks. The reason I saved 2k of the crystal flasks is just because I know I'm going to be making holy overloads in the future, so I figured I would just save the flasks that I had made instead of needing to buy them back at some point in the future. It just didn't really seem worth it. As you can see, though, I did make 24.7 mil in selling all this, which is so awesome for dailies to, like, granted, this was over like a 3-month period that I was stacking all of this up, so it was not a lot per day, but for it to add up to almost 25 mil, we'll say, that's really, really awesome to see that much of a boost in wealth on my account from something as simple as a daily that gets me, as you can see, great XP. So I was just so, so stoked about it. Then after that, it was on to herblore, and you may or may not know this, but I had been stocking herblore supplies for a decent amount of time. I had a decent amount of them because I figured that when I got 99 herblore, I wanted to make all of the potions that I could ever really need, because I did not want to be well past 99 and thinking, you know what, I need more overloads. So it didn't really seem worth it to take a cheap way out and make something like super defense if I would need to go back and make overloads or something like that in the future anyway. So I also made a bunch of super anti-fires. Granted, I had bought supplies for like 520 or something like that, but because I had the Scroll of Cleansing, I wound up with around 580, and the same kind of goes for all of the extremes I was making as well. I wound up with excess supplies, and if you'll think back to earlier in the account, I was putting so much bonus XP and so much free XP from things like Jack of Trades or Lamps into herblore that I had too much supplies by a lot. And by too much supplies, I mean if I was to make all of the overloads I had planned on it, I would have just been well over my goal, and that is not what I wanted because, again, as I was saying, I don't want to be training far past 99 making overloads. So in some ways, I kind of screwed myself over by putting so much bonus XP into herblore, but at the same time, not really, because it means a lot of the supplies that I bought I was able to sell back, and I think I was kind of overestimating how many I would use in the span of this account anyway, and if I ever need more, I can definitely assure myself that I will be far enough into this account that I can afford it. It's not something that'll be like I'm always needing to make more overloads, because I will definitely have way more than enough. So as you can see, I went from starting at 89 herblore, getting to level 90, getting all the way to level 99, making, again, around 580 super anti-fires, and then a little over 1.3k of all extremes into overloads. And at this point, I still hadn't finished making them into holy overloads, which I really, really wanted to do, because if you don't know this, making overloads into holy overloads just because you're adding super renewals, or just prayer renewals, not super renewals, because you're adding prayer renewals to them and you're getting 2 more doses worth of overload out of them, you're basically getting more overload per money than you would otherwise. You're getting 2 more doses for much less of the cost than the doses costed throughout making just normal overloads. So they wind up being a cheaper variation of overloads with an additional effect. So holy overloads are just such a great thing in my opinion, especially considering I don't plan on using them for like super heavy high level PVM, like things like Arax or Rots or something like that, just because that's not really my playstyle. I'm going to be using these for things like maybe more annoying Slayer monsters, or things like higher level dungeoneering if I'm selling floors, and things like that. You know, maybe if I was to do a little bit of higher level PVM, like if I was to, not even higher level PVM, but like say I wanted to go to Bandos, I could bring overloads and I'd be fine. Stuff like that, like stuff where I don't need some sort of like supreme overload salve sort of deal. Regardless, though, making all of these holy overloads did put me at level 100 Herblore, which is a bit farther than I'd planned on going, but all things considered, not a big deal. Have, I think, around 1.1k, 1.2k 6-dose holy overloads, and these will definitely last me for ages. I am super, super excited to have finished off this 99 as well as have supplies to last this account for such a long time. I was super, super stoked. Now, because of the Scroll of Cleansing, I got an uneven number of extremes made, and this could also just kind of be because of the way inventory spaces worked out, whatever it is. Regardless, I wasn't ever going to do anything with these. If I ever wanted to do something where I would use extremes, I could just use overloads. There's no reason for me to only use the extremes. And I wasn't going to try and balance them out and make more overloads because, again, I have way more than enough. I'm well past 99. There's no reason for it. So I figured I would disassemble them because I know higher level potions can be good for enhancing components, even healthy components. So I figured maybe I'd try that out, see if I could get something. Unfortunately, I think I only got maybe 8, maybe 9 enhancing components, and I think only 2 healthy components. So really not a lot, but at least I got something out of them, I guess. One of the really cool things about having rune metrics is through bonus XP weekend, I was able to see some insane XP per hours. For example, in doing crafting with the crystal flasks, I was thinking, I think I was around 600k, and with the regular flasks, I think I was closer to 400k. When I was doing regular overloads, I was almost at 4.2 mil XP per hour at some points, which was absolutely insane. And as you can see from the Oyster Daily, I was getting almost 2 million farming XP per hour, which just kind of goes to show, even though you only get like 140k farming XP, it's very worth your time because the amount of time you spend there proportional to the amount of XP you get is just absolutely ridiculous. Similarly, in terms of fishing, again, even though you only get around maybe 140, 160k fishing XP, I was getting 10 million XP per hour, so it takes almost no time and you get a ridiculous amount of XP. It's so worth it to do dailies like this, or in this case, monthlies. Granted, this monthly wasn't doubled to bonus XP weekend, it's just the fact that I had put it off and hadn't done it before bonus XP weekend, that I had to waste a little bit of bonus XP weekend time to do it, but still very worth it to knock it out instead of not doing it at all. That was the end of the day, end of the first day of bonus XP weekend that Friday. After this though, 2398 total level and 168.9 million XP. As you can see from rune metrics at the top, I got 13.3 million XP in this session, meaning from the time I woke up to the time I went to sleep. I think rune metrics will reset if you haven't logged on within like a 3-hour time frame, and I think I kept logging on enough to make sure that that didn't happen. So getting 13.3 million XP in this day, just absolutely awesome. Next morning, I think I was AFK watching LCS, didn't really know what to do, so I was just AFKing agility, and I got myself to level 90 agility, which is really cool. Nice thing about this, the most important, is the Kuradul's dungeon wall run shortcut, just because it'll make a handful of Slayer tasks much more convenient, instead of needing to run all the way around. The Barbarian Outpost course, the advanced course, is nice, but considering I'm probably going to do Heffen to 99, it's really not that special. Doing a farm run after that, got to level 90 farming, another level 90 skill, so excited about it. It does unlock elders, but now there's only one elder patch. I'm not even sure if you can buy elder seeds or if that's something that you need to get through other methods. Regardless though, very cool to get level 90 farming, even more importantly getting to level 2400 total level. Super exciting. 2401 if you include my 100 Herblore, but I'm not really focusing too much on that. I'm not going to count virtual levels. At least not until I'm completely maxed. Until max, virtual levels really don't mean anything. And again, 2400 on day 203, that is so cool. After that, though, I went to try out crystallizing granules. I had never done them before, and in the very beginning, I was super bad at it, just in terms of efficiency, knowing when to do what, and in terms of maximizing and completely optimizing the method of doing it. I was very, very poor. That's why you'll see my XP per hour is only like 700, 800k. I did get level 91 and 92 though, kind of cool, but it was just something that I wasn't good at, and I realized that I wasn't very good at it, so it was kind of frustrating, and I really didn't enjoy it, especially considering how difficult it was to actually find a world. After that, I did do a little bit of construction. I got to level 91. Reason for that was because I was like, I think it was like 14k or maybe only 7k away from a level, and I hadn't yet done my god statues for the month, so I wanted to get that level just that way when I did the monthly, because most distraction and diversions scale to your level. The higher your level is, the more XP you get. I figured it'd be worth it to get that little bit of XP to get that level, so that way my god statues would get me a little bit more XP and it would be a little bit more worth it. Now, if you guys know me, you know how much I hate low-level thieving, so I decided to hit Monkey Knife Fighters after that just because I didn't really know what to do and I wanted to get some of this done. So I got level 83 and level 84 thieving, which is pretty cool, getting me that much closer to high-level thieving content, which I find a million times more enjoyable, so I was super, super happy about that. After that, it was the Amlad Voice of Saren, though, which meant to me that I should probably knock out a little bit of summoning. I had planned on doing summoning, didn't know when or how much I was going to do, but the Voice of Saren was what inspired me. I did get from level 86 to level 90, which is pretty cool. Only really important level there, I mean, other than 90 being another level towards 90 cape, which is really cool. Level 88 was the last requirement I needed for the Elven Hard task set. Have not gone and finished that quite yet, but having all of the requirements to do so is pretty nice. Again, looking at rune metrics, you can see I got over 1.4 million summoning XP in such a short time frame. I was getting 2.3 million XP per hour, making just granite lobsters. So if you imagine how much XP per hour people were getting making things like water titans, or geyser titans, what am I even saying, that would have been absolutely insane. After that, though, it was back to Granwalls. I had found a world and I decided to stick with it. I got from level 92 past level 93, 94, 95, 96, and level 97 before the end of the day. Some really awesome levels. Again, they don't really unlock anything super special because crystallizing Granwalls is the fastest Hunter XP per hour that you can get in the game, as far as I'm aware anyway. I'm almost certain there's nothing faster. And it was just insane XP per hour. There were times I was getting around 1.2, 1.3, maybe even up toward 1.4 mil XP per hour, but then there would be times that I was kind of in a lull and getting closer to like only 800k, which is a little disappointing, but what are you going to do? Toward the end of this, I started to actually finally optimize how I was doing it and making sure I was timing my ticks properly and all of my actions and what I was doing, making sure I was maintaining things like a full inventory and things like that, just to get the most out of every trap. And by the end of this, I was actually pretty good at it, and I was starting to enjoy it. Even though it was super click intensive, it was definitely worth my time. I did end the day there, though, at 2415 total level and 177.1 million XP, some fantastic gains. Let's move on to day 204, the last day of bonus XP weekend. Began the day where I left off working on some Hunter. I got to level 98, as you would expect, and a while after that, I finally reached the level 99 Hunter. Again, looking at my rune metrics, you can see 2.3 million Hunter XP so far in this day. Getting 1.2 million XP per hour, pretty awesome. I know you can probably do better with perfect ticks, but you know, I'm not fantastic at it. I did definitely get better, as you can see in this clip, trying to optimize everything I was doing, but super awesome to get 299s in one bonus XP weekend, especially considering, yeah, they're faster skills, but Herblor's pretty expensive, Hunter's super click intensive and tedious, so to get both of them knocked out, I am super excited about. Might surprise you, but I don't intend on buying these skill capes just because I already have, number one, I have the Unseen Prayer keepsake. I intend on using that for pretty much my only cosmetic cape until I get any sort of 120 or max cape. And I have another prayer skill cape banked if I ever need a skill cape for combat stat reasons. There's really no reason for me to use other ones taking up bank space. Yeah, they're cool, but I mean, I've had them all before. Really nothing too special. I'm really just happy to have the stats. Sticking with the crystallized theme after that, decided to try and crystallize some teaks. Got to level 88 and level 89 woodcutting. Did not make a lot of progress in woodcutting after that, though, if any at all. It was pretty cool to see myself getting well over 300k XP per hour, and I know that this is the most efficient woodcutting XP per hour that you can get in the game. I know it's going to take me quite a while to get toward 99, but I just didn't really have the motivation and the drive to focus on doing this during bonus XP weekend. I wanted to do other things. Heaven Voice of Saren came around again. You guys know how much I despise agility, so I decided to work on some agility, get to level 91. Very cool to make progress there. Still quite a ways off of 99, and I'm almost certain I'm going to be putting all of my free bonus XP into agility for quite a long time, even though it is almost somewhat of an AFK skill if you do it right. It's not worth it to me. It's such low XP per hour, and it's so tedious that I cannot stand it, and I'm very glad to be busting out some levels during bonus XP weekend. After that, I was trying out Saren Stones, superheating Saren Stones to see how it went in terms of XP per hour. As I told you earlier in this episode, looking back, I don't think I'll be doing this. It was alright, but I think if I was to compare it to Superheat form in the Living Rock Caverns, that is better in a couple reasons. One, I think it's slightly more XP per hour cumulatively, which is very nice. And it's also a stronger ratio giving in terms of like mining to summon or mining to smithing XP. It's more even as opposed to a lot of mining XP and a little bit of smithing XP. You get a lot more smithing XP proportional to the mining XP when you're in the Living Rock Caverns, which is really good for me because I don't want to spend bank on smithing. It's really just that simple, and especially if I can be getting more XP per hour overall in general in the account while doing that, there's really no reason for me to spend a whole lot of time here. After that, I did buy a bond. I did buy the Game Blast set just because, you know, contributing to charity, figured it would be a good cause. Was only like, I think it was 9.8 mil. Really not a big deal, especially considering I sold back a bunch of herblore supplies for like, I think probably 35 mil back, even though like, yeah, it was stuff that I had bought before. I had that extra cash. I had also cashed out on another investment that I had earlier in the weekend. I sold a bunch of water talismans. Did not make a lot, was nothing really special, but I did profit. So again, and if you add this on top of my flask profit, blowing money on a bond for charity, there's really no reason not to. And you know what? It does look pretty cool, so I'm very happy I did it. After that, it was back to Apatol for more terrible monkey knife fighters. Got to level 85, kind of cool because this unlocks elves. Not that I like pickpocketing elves, but because pickpocketing elves are a somewhat common thieving challenge. I mean, if you're going to get a thieving challenge at a higher level, that's probably what you're going to get. The XP reward from them is not bad either, so that's kind of nice. Getting level 86 after there, I did not unlock anything with that, but at level 86, you can +4 boost with the Abyssal Lurker to level 90. And I figured, you know what, I might as well try using Crystal Mask, Light Form, and the Abyssal Lurker boost to 90 at Dwarf Traders. A lot of people were actually here. It was incredibly, ridiculously crowded, and the amount of spam clicking necessary in order to do this was painful. It was terrible. I hated it so much, but it was incredibly worth it. I got level 87, 88, and 89 here. I was, toward the end, I was ranging from like 1.2 to 1.4 mil XP per hour. So comparing that to my very poor, like maybe 350k XP per hour up to 400k XP per hour at Monkey Knife Fighters, this was just so worth it. And I was doing this into like maybe 1 or 2 in the morning just because I wanted to get as much progress into this painful skill as I could. And now that I am at level 89, I can +4 boost and be able to pickpocket from 3 clans. Could also just keep pickpocketing here until I can do more clans. Well, I think it's going to kind of depend on my mood, really. I mean, if I want more XP per hour, I'll go to Dwarf Traders. If I want a little bit more AFK, I'll go to Elves, and it'll just kind of depend. But getting level 89 Thieving, getting almost 1.9 million Thieving XP on the day, very good. That was the end of Sunday night, though, and just based on when I woke up on Monday, it was the end of bonus XP weekend for me. 2426 total level, 183.3 million XP. For reference, got level 89 to 100 Herblore, got from level 90 to 99 Hunter, level 92 to 96 Crafting, those were the big ones, and I think around 28 million total XP. So, granted, there are many people that got way more XP, whether it be because they were just more efficient and camping more things, or just because they were banging out like 100 million summoning XP or something ridiculous. I know people did better, but I am so happy and so content with the amount of progress made on this account in this one weekend. This has put me in such a great place. Granted, it is going to kind of mean that levels are way more spread out from here on out in the episode, or in the series rather, but to be this much farther into the account just feels absolutely incredible. And I hope that you guys are enjoying this a fraction of as much as I am, because I think that this is absolutely awesome. Day 205, though, first day without bonus XP weekend. As what probably happened to a lot of you guys, you wind up in that post-bonus XP weekend slump where, you're not super hyped about training anymore because you don't feel rushed, you don't feel stressed about it. So you don't really do a whole lot. I got level 91 smithing in the Citadel, kind of cool, doesn't like anything super special. And that was pretty much it for the day. A little bit short of 184 mil XP, 2427 total level, really nothing special at all. Granted, I'm recording this the day after this last clip now, so I can say accurately through hindsight that I have kind of gotten out of that day-long slump. I am doing more productive stuff. Granted, not a lot of XP, nothing super special, just because it's not bonus XP weekend. It's not going to look amazing when you're coming off a 28 mil weekend. But that being said, hope you guys have enjoyed all of this progress, making so many gains. I am super, super excited about it. I am kind of lost for a goal at this point, though. I don't know what it is I want to focus on in particular. I am definitely bouncing around and doing, kind of whatever I'm in the mood for. I don't think there's any one particular thing that's going to be way more efficient to do first than other things. I think at this point I'm pretty well set. If I need to do something that's more buyable, there's no reason for me to do something like Slayer first because I have enough cash to pay for it. If I'm in the mood to do Slayer or Invention, I can just kind of bang those out simultaneously and get combat going at the same time. Any other sort of AFK skill, not really going to matter what order I do those in, just going to kind of get them done. And with that, I'm going to be ending this episode. Hope you guys enjoyed it. Hope you have a beautiful day. Stay happy. And make sure you subscribe so you see me in the next episode, because I will return and I will rebuild.